everybody. Sound check. One, two, three. One, two, three. Sound check. I hope you hear us loud and clear. We're going to start in a few seconds, and Yuri will kick it off. Yuri, feel free to kick it off at any time, okay?
Yes, thank you, Alex. Hello, everyone. Um, Thank you for taking your time and joining us online today. Uh, Foremost, I wanted to apologize to all our LA and San Francisco attendees that are joining us today. This event was switched to an online event due to some logistical challenges. So, for those of you who are joining, I'm glad you're able to make it. And the what we're going to do today is we pretty much I'm going to take you through a brief introduction of Trusted IT, and I also we're going to after that take a short break to ensure that everyone has their logins. For those of you who have two screens and going to participate in a hands-on uh, workshop and to do a real walkthrough and be able to install the client and create Power BI reports with us, as Alex will show you in a second half of the presentation, with a real life hands-on workshop experience. Now, if you don't have the two screens, no worries. These sessions will be recorded, and then you can always follow it at your own pace and using the same login information, which will still be available to you after this workshop. You'll be able to go back and recreate all the reports that will be shown to you in this session today. Now, I am getting some replies that some of the logins are not working for the demo environment. Again, we will take a short break after the intro and to be able to address some of these issues. But if you follow the instructions, you should be able to log in with the demo logins that were provided to you. If not, just let me know in the chat or direct email, and we will address that. So, without further ado, just a quick intro. We're Trusted IT Group, Microsoft Gold Partner. Uh, the My name is Yuri.Frid. I'm the Director of Marketing for the group, and Alex.Rodov is a Microsoft MVP. He is a CTO, and he will be actually conducting the workshop. So he will be walking you through on how to retrieve data, compile data, and produce reports both on your desktop and then be able to publish them and share online. So, once Trust ID Group, who are we? We're collectively managing upwards of $10 billion worth in portfolio value for our customers. We're a managed service provider. 99% of our clients renew with us year after year. Uh, our approach, to our customer relationship is more of a partnership. We like to take a strategic approach, really understand the environment, create a strategic approach first, and really educate, stand hands side by side with you to really understand your business. And we also produce a great deal of educational videos. We have more than 45,000 hours worth of free training material on YouTube channel, which, by the way, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you press the notification button because we're constantly putting up webinars and tips and tricks and tips of how to use different facets of the project online, the Power BI environment. So you could take advantage of that. It's total. These are some of the clients that we're currently serving today. And even though our focus is project online and the Power BI, as you can see on the left side of the wheel, but we are experts in the whole Office 365 ecosystem, which obviously needs to be because it is all in the cloud and online today. And whether you're doing your project on a desktop or a project server, ultimately ends up online for collaboration. And that's when you really need to understand deploying everything correctly within the Office 365 environment so it could be shared across the whole enterprise. So I wanted to cover briefly the evolution of business intelligence. So in the very beginning, it was where the end user, when they needed to produce reports, they had to put a request to the IT department and wait for weeks or months in the queue until they're able to produce those reports to the end user. And then the second wave, you kind of went to the analyst, and the timing was quite a bit better, but still you have to rely on someone else to produce the business intelligence reports for you. But now the third wave is where we are today. Is you have access, everyone has access to the business intelligence reports, and you can produce on the fly, real time, dynamically. And again, the data resides pretty much anywhere. And the power of the Power BI tool is you're able to gather that data no matter where it resides, whether it's in a SaaS environment, in your flat files, Excel, SQL, Oracle, and you could bring it all into one spot, which is Power BI, and produce visuals and table reports dynamically to report on your health of your business and view the health of your business instantaneously instead of waiting and viewing data that's a week or a month old. And again, what the Power BI environment allows you to do is, in an easy fashion, you can bring in all the data by literally drag and dropping it, which Alex will demonstrate shortly, by utilizing a very friendly UI and get it all set up so you can report on it. And after the data is brought in, you can explore the data in many different ways. Uh, you could drill down in a hierarchical structure. You can ask a very natural query language to produce the results. And then, of course, visualizations. That's the strength of the Power BI. Out of the box, there are many visualizations that you could use. Again, as Alex was demonstrated shortly, and there are also libraries of different visualizations, industry specific, that can be downloaded and used. And of course, the real power in is that this data can be displayed on a desktop. And as a matter of fact, Power BI looks even better on mobile and Power BI app for the mobile device. And by publishing it on the web, you'll be able to collaborate real time and share the data within your enterprise, whether you're in the same office or you're across the country or across the whole world, based on your governance and the security structure. Uh, these are just examples of some of the reports that we're able to produce and design specifically for our clients, more complex environments, such as bringing in data from different sources like Jira, like SAP, and be able to consolidate them and time with all the interdependencies into one consolidated report. This is sort of what goes on sort of underneath the hood, how we're able to connect all the data sources by creating all this logic for it. Again, I think Alex sort of what goes on sort of underneath the hood, how we workshop that's. Now, at this point, I think we're going to take a brief moment just to make sure that participants that do want to be hands-on, are able to log into the environment. So if you're okay, if you can give me a thumbs up in the chat, and then we can proceed with our workshop. Okay, looks like we do have some issues with logins. We're gonna test the environment right now.
Hey, Yuri, this is Alex here. I think we can, get going because I'll show some of those login steps that I'm expecting everybody to follow, and then if anything, we can follow up with a specific case offline and work through the chat in YouTube.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Yuri, for this. I do have the specific place where I have my face in there, so at least you feel that I'm not just a voice behind the camera. I'm actually the live person here with the trusted IT group you showed here. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining today. And we're gonna get a little bit nerdy, if you will, pretty soon. I'm gonna just collapse this whole thing, and I'm gonna start with the fresh screen here. But I do really want to everybody to be able to follow this. But when you open your browser initially, and I'm typically using Chrome for all of these things. It's just easy to use. But you can surely use all kinds of Internet Explorers and Edges and other browsers. But I do want to make sure that when you log in, it doesn't interfere with your personal credentials, or maybe you're using your work laptop or your work PC. It wouldn't interfere with your working credentials, like your job credentials. So in this case, we're really looking forward to open this incognito session. So when you are in Chrome, so here on the upper right corner, you see this three dots, and when you click on this, and it'll tell you a new incognito window. So when you do this, it opens it locks you out of the all kinds of corporate credentials that may be saved and stored in your Windows operating system. So in my case, you know what, let me actually do this. So if I open an incognito session, so it looks like this. And what I would do want you to do next is to simply use a set of credentials that we prepared in advance, and we have all kinds of skywalkers right there, out there available for everybody. So when you're here, simply type office.com, right? It's pretty straightforward. Office.com will lend you oops, that's a little logging me in. So let me just sign out of here very quickly. So sign out of here. I'm gonna sign out of there, close this whole thing, and I'm going to do open a brand new session of the Chrome. Here it is, brand new. I'm going to say open a new incognito window and go office.com. So this is a workshop. So excuse me if I'm like a typo or something. I'll try to not to. So sign in, and when Yuri replied to you and your request to provide your credentials, you would have an email address and you would have a password. So when you get that email address and just do this switch to another account. So here you would paste you would put your email address, right, and you can sign in, and it will forward you to this window, and this is where you would go and put your password in there. So in my case, I'm gonna pull it from my secret place here. This is my password, but your access, your credentials should work perfectly fine for the purpose of what we need to do. So I took my password and there I go, sign in, and I'm gonna say stay signed in. I'm gonna say yes. I'd like to stay signed in. All right, so that will land you on the office.com homepage, basically. Yeah. Um, what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to connect Project Online, PPM, Project Online solution with Power BI, and I'll show you a few things that will pull up some of the existing content packs from Microsoft, as well as we will create our own brand new dashboard today. And since most of you probably will be using this and using this video and rewinding back and seeing the steps, so I'll assume that you will be looking at this recorded at some point. So if you try to do this live right now and not being able to catch up, some errors may pop up or something. Feel free to just take your time, come back to the recording later and then rewind and see how it plays out. So I'll try to do this step by step. So step number one, we needed to log in. Hopefully you're through this step by now. And here on the home page, we would see all kinds of apps that are included in our demo environment, or in this case, in our kind of lab environment, where we have this Contoso electronics, and we have all these apps available. So feel free to play with some of those apps as well. So here we would also, in some cases, we see everything, but in the world of Microsoft, there's a lot of, you saw that wheel that Yuri was showing, there's a lot of things in that wheel, and not all of them are listed here. So if you don't see what you're looking for, you can always go to and click on add apps and all apps, and you will see here is all, basically all the apps that are currently available for me, right? This is what the administrators decided that is good for me. Anyway, I'd like to go to my project. So I'm going to click on my project here, or if I go back to my original homepage, click on this project button. This will land me on my project homepage. Fairly new feature for Microsoft, basically allowing you to look at all your projects and maybe make some of those projects favorite. Let's just say I'd like this to have this project favorite, this project favorite, and this project favorite. So I can always, click on those projects and get to those projects very quickly. But what I do want to do is to scroll all the way down to this page where it says go to project web app. This is real project web app, core application, and this is where I really want to go. And from Power BI perspective, this is the business application from which we're going to pull all the information from, and we're going to pull this data into Power BI. I do want to give you like a really, really brief overview of Project Online. I mean, literally I'll show you just one screen and show you like all these projects are here, and all those KPIs are here, and we have all kinds of Fensichment data here. We have all these projects listed. They're grouped by workflow phase. If I scroll, open even more, you can see the start dates and finish dates. There's a whole universe of this data, right? And we're gonna be able to pull all of this business application data into Power BI. Okay. I'll just give you zoom out of this Gantt chart, this is also showing you a nice way of showing you the project portfolio. Okay, each of these projects, if I drill into each of these, I promised you one screen. Here's two screens. Okay, I promise that's it. Two screens. So here's just the actual schedule, right? So if you're a project manager and you're working with the Microsoft schedule, Microsoft project schedule, so you can work on this project and publish this to the project online, and there you go. You see all this information published on the web. So now we're going to try to pull this information all into the Power BI. So should have probably mentioned to you that in order to build any Power BI reports, you can do things online, very simple things online. But I do recommend for you to have the Power BI desktop downloaded. So how do we do this? So I'm gonna open a new tab. I'm gonna open a new blank new tab, and I'm gonna say PowerBI.com. PowerBI.com, literally, yes, PowerBI.com. And this is not signed in, right now we're looking for us to sign in. There's to the sign in button here. So if I click on it and sign in with the same credentials that you've been provided, that would be like Skywalker number or something, right? And when you would sign in with your Skywalker account, then you would be able to see the Skywalker at this blah 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 Microsoft.com. Okay, so this is our playground. This is our lab within which we're working. So and now it's going to get you to your specific Skywalker workplace, and this is where you'll see all those reports. Please, if you click on that, um, what is it, arrow? I mean, it's kind of weird why it's pointing on down where it's not expanded. But when you click on it, it does. It points up, up. So it's, I mean, to me, it's not really intuitive, but you do need to click on this in order to expand that my workplace, my workspace section, within which you're going to have dashboards, reports, workbooks, data sets. Okay. So, I mean, this is later, but I do really want you to um, when you do log in here, you can go and download the Power BI desktop, because this is the desktop tool that we will need in order to build our dashboards and reports. Okay, so if you click on that Power BI desktop, this will get you to uh, the store. You can download it through the store as well as just direct download from the Microsoft. So here's on the Microsoft Store, because I'm using Microsoft Windows 10, right? I mean, it's already installed on my part, so I don't need to download it, but you would need to download it in order to install it. The other way to actually have that downloaded, in case you're using other than Windows 10 and maybe you don't have the permissions through the store, you can also download it from the web and install it. And if I just simply type Power BI desktop download, right? The first download Microsoft Power BI desktop from official Microsoft. There you go. Couldn't be more official than this, right? So when you click on this, it can this will get you the installation to the download page, and this is where you can download this, executable, and then basically do it from there. So anyway, this is free. No licenses or anything. Microsoft has it completely free, like literally $0 will be paid, no subscription, anything, 100% free. Basically for us to be able to learn and to be able to build a dashboard, and then we will be able to publish this to the Power BI service, which is essentially this what I'm pointing to my second screen, which is this PowerBI.com signed in service. Anyway, so when you do have it up and running and launch it, what you're going to be able to do is to launch it. Let me just launch this Power BI desktop. There you go. So I'm launching Power BI desktop. So now we're going to try to connect. Here's it's loading. Now we're going to try to connect the Power BI and Project Online service, okay? And build our great dashboard. I hope you're having fun. By the way, if you do have any questions, feel free to put any comments. So here's this, and then let me just pull this to my screen. I don't need to really have that initial screen. I usually do this right away, but you feel free to keep it. But I do want to close this and really start from scratch. So here's the scratch. Right, here's a really blank sheet, page one. Right, this is a really untitled um, file where we really starting from scratch. What I was saying about the comments, if you do have any questions or comments about the workshop or anything, please do put this into the chat. We do monitor this chat, and even if it's recorded and it's when you see this later, day, 2 week, a month, a year from now, we do monitor all of our chats and we do respond. So feel free to put any chat into the YouTube. Okay, so now I do wanna show you a very quick way to connect your project desktop, your Power BI desktop, to basically any data source. In this particular case, we're going to connect to Project Online, but I do want to show you the variety of all kinds of data sources that we can connect to. And this is what the really Power BI is really famous for, is being able to connect a multitude of data sources. And we're talking about all kinds of databases. We're talking about all kinds of online services. If we go to this get data section and try to look at I'm clicking on more because I do really want to click on and see all kinds of data sources. So first of all, we can connect the Excel. I mean, this is very simple. I mean, if you have a crazy Excel file with all kinds of spreadsheet, all kinds of sheets with thousands of rows of data that you downloaded from your business application or something like that, you can really use that as a standard for yourself, for your specific situation, and pull this Excel into the Power BI and create really nice dashboards. So guess what? When you would need to refresh the data, you just pull the same Excel again with new data and point your Power BI to read from the same Excel. You don't need to repeat your steps for Power BI. Power BI will transform that Excel and put the right nice visuals the way you build it. So that's one of the data sources. Another data source could be all kinds of nerdy formats like JSON and XML and stuff like that. But let's talk about some traditional ones. SQL Server, right? SQL Server database, IBM DB2 database, Oracle database, SQL Server analysis services, etc. So a lot of these, and you see this list is really big, and a lot of this grouped by specific services. I do want to click on this online services, and you can really connect to things like Dynamics 365, SharePoint, online lists, etc. Right. So without further ado, I do want to connect to this great service that is very common for especially Office 365 feeds, which would be called OData. Let me just find OData. There you go. So this is OData feed, and this is the JSON pre-formatted feed that is flying from Project Online all the way to the Power BI or any other other reporting tool, but in this case, Power BI naturally would be able to translate this feed from Project Online into the normal databases, into the normal tables. So what I'd like to do is to go back to my browser, and I'd like to go back to my project homepage. Right, this is my project homepage. Remember, we went to initially we went to this office.com and then went to project, and here's another tab where I have my home page of project online. And usually it has the PWA, which stands for the project web app, and that's the URL that we really need right now. So I grab that URL. I don't need the default .spx at the end, but I'm gonna grab that URL. I'm gonna copy this, go back to my desktop. So all data feed, and I need to put this URL in here. Okay, and then abracadabra, we're gonna put the special suffix to it. So because when you request the basic URL, the page knows that this is the basic user. We're not the basic user. We've gotten into the nerdiness a little bit here. So this is a little bit a nerdy URL, but feel free to remember this or just put it down. So it's API underscore API slash and project data, right? It's not too much of a nerdiness, to be honest. So that's the suffix we add at the end and click on OK. So now it's going to request this URL, but it's knocking on the door of that project online, and project online telling us, oh, who are you? I mean, right? It says who. And since we already got authenticated, it already knows that we are the administrator of the system. But if it will ask you your credentials, then please go ahead and provide your credentials. Again, that would be your Skyworker email and then the password that Yuri conveniently sent to you. Okay. Um, so when you do this, it will offer you, in this case, 40, right? 40 different feeds. And we have all kinds of feeds coming from Project Online, starting from basically a list of projects. And if I click on it, it will give me like a preview of that feed. Maybe I don't need this feed in my report. So it will give us a little bit of a preview before we pull any of these feeds into our data set. So this project feed, if you look at the preview here, has a lot of different fields. If I scroll to the right, I'll be able to see all kinds of fields it has. If I scroll all the way to the end of this, it will give us even all kinds of custom fields that we created just for this environment. Okay. Again, I may not want to include this, but in this case, I usually like to include this feed. I'm going to check this. I'm going to check a couple other feeds. I like to check the tasks also. I like to check risks. I like to check issues. What are issues? Issues. Right. I'm going to check. Um, what else I'm going to check? Oh, that's enough. I don't want to load too much time sheet information. I don't want to add too many data feeds. So I choose the feeds that I wanted, and I'm going to click on load. So when I'm clicking on load, now it's going to actually do interesting things. First of all, it's going to pull those feeds into my Power BI data set, and from that point going forward, these feeds would comprise my data set, and I would be able to build my visuals using those data sets, using those feeds. What it also does automatic detection of relationship between these feeds. So let's just say in the feed of tasks, I have project ID references. So in a projects feed, it has also the project ID reference. So it may detect that tasks and projects are related by this foreign key that is represented as a project ID. So a lot of these things will, may be automatically created. And I do want to show you that here on the right side, where you can see the fields now. You can see the different feeds that are available to us. And if I expand one of these, it will show us all kinds of fields that these feeds now contain. Okay, so issues has these fields. The project, if I click to expand the projects feed, it will show us all kinds of fields that this project feed has. And if you're familiar with the pivot tables, that's kind of similar concept where you have those fields available from different tables, and now you can combine them together into the tables or into the pie charts and things like that. This is kind of similar to that. And I do want to show you and see if there are any connections, any relationships have been created automatically for these feeds. And there is this button that's called Manage Relationships. If I click on it, there you go. So now Power BI automatically created this relationships between these feeds. If I click on the relationship, remember I just talked about the projects and tasks. There you go. If I double click on this to check what is it the relationship is it, and this will tell me that it actually did link project ID with project ID from this task feed and projects feed. So it conveniently created a lot of this relationship for us. I mean, for more complex scenarios, you may want to, manage your relationship the way you want it, because if you really let it go, let it run automatically, it may not lead you to the desirable outcomes as as a real relationship. So, but we're not going to be talking about this today. I'm gonna close this, and I do wanna, before we start building any fancy visuals and showing this information in a nice fancy way, I do wanna give you an overview of what we're looking at from the Power BI perspective. So on the Power BI desktop, here on the left we have the part that says report. If I highlight it on the upper left corner, this icon that says report. Another one says data, another one says model. So if I click on this model, this will tell us in a visual representation the relationship between these feeds. And you can see that the center of this relationship, is really a project feed that basically has connection to all of these other feeds that also have project ID. So a lot of this that we just did, and clicked and pushed, automatically created this relationship, created this structure for us. Again, we may need to be careful as to what specific relationships have been created in order to build very accurate reports. All right. Here on the data side, on the data, we can also structure and change some of this behavior of this data, but I don't want to spend too much time on this for now, and maybe spend on this a little bit later. So going back to reports. Okay, let's create something very, very quick and easy, right? And in this case, let's create a simple report with list of projects. What I'd like to do is to create a list of projects. Um, we would click on the projects feed. We would need to find which field we like to use to list those projects. And usually this is a project name. The project name field is, if the list is really, really long, I can say, um, I can type the name that I'm looking for and say name. What do I have? I have project name in the issues. I have a project name here in projects. So if I click on this feed, this would automatically choose the visual, which is in this case a table, and we automatically include this field in in the values. So the other concept here is this visualizations, and I can switch between different visualizations as I go. So this selected section called widget has been changing the type of the visualization as I clicking through it, right? I'm clicking through the histogram, I'm clicking through all kind. I mean, here simply I'm clicking on a table. I'd like it to be a table. So here below this visualization, selection, I have the actual values, the choosing of my tables, of my fields for my table, and I hear this formatting option where I can actually choose the colors, and maybe the fonts and size and things like that. So this is really cosmetic and changing the colors and things like that. So if I do want to add more fields to it, I can also say, let me pick something else to my table of projects. Maybe I'd like to see things like program. I'd like to see the program and basically dragging and dropping this to uh, to my to my table. If I expand this a little bit, I can give more space. I can see the program at which these projects are related to. I can see the optimizer, the benefit summary. I can put the benefits in here, and I can look. I can add more fields to it. Even see the benefits, since this is a numeric parameter. It's already rolling this up at the end of the table, and I can see the total value of $59 million. So, and by the way, I'd like to see this as dollars. So when I go to my data. I open my project, select my project feed on the right side. And for the benefits specifically, for the benefits, here's the benefits. I can right click on the benefits, or actually, keep the benefits here. And on the modeling tab, I can select that this is to be the currency. And in my case, this is going to be United States currency. Select all the benefits to look like dollars. So now it's going to work on it, transfer, basically make sure that these are dollars. See the little dollar sign shows up now. If I go my report, now this is all dollars. So there's a lot of this things that you may want to do in order to adjust and transform some of this feed, some of this information that moved into the Power BI, and translate this into the format you like. Okay. All right. So this is a simple table. Let me just keep this table as is. And I'd like to add something else. I'd like to add maybe a logo. Let me just add a logo here. So here on the home page, I can insert, is the whole insert button to the image. So here I'm gonna insert an image. I'm gonna put my picture, pictures. I don't want my own picture. There we go, picture. I put this picture in there. And maybe I'd like to put something in and put a label, text box. So let me put it, here's a text box, and I can say this is going to be my PPM in Power BI workshop. And I can make this, I can change the colors, change the font size, and make this bold, something like that. Okay. So now this is our all right. So now it has the face. Again, now it has a little bit of the face. So I hope you have been able to follow this. So what I do want to do, and I'd like to add a couple new visualizations. So what we did, we pulled information in. We started pulling in and creating some tables. I do want to maybe create this table a little longer because it's a long list, and we want to include most of the projects here. So let's bring in some of the donuts here. So I'm clicking on a donut, and it automatically brings this blank widget. So now I need to fill it with data. So when I have this widget active, and when I switch between the widgets, they switch the active state. So if I click on the table, it shows me the values that I have filled this table with under here, under this value section. If I click on this donut, it does show us that, well, there's nothing that has been filled. So we can just drag and drop and fill this donut with the data. So what I want to do is to fill the information from, well, let's just say from projects. I don't want to complicate different data feeds. Let's just say I'm going to bring this and pull in projects in. So I do want to pull in the programs as a category, as a legend, actually as a details. And I'd like to put the benefits as values. Ooh, what does it tell us? So by the way, when you pull in the benefits, since this is a little summary sign here, which means that this is a numeric field, and the aggregation functions are applicable, such as if I click on this drop down, it will tell us the options for different aggregation functions that we can apply to this benefits. So in this case, by default, it applied the summary, which is great, which is actually what I wanted. But I can put some different aggregation functions like average, minimum, maximum, count, and count distinct, or things like that. So in this case, it's also, you can see that it's split into different programs. I can see how much benefits, and if I mouse over one of these, it tells us how much benefits each of these programs are contributing. And it's not based on the count of projects, but it is based on the benefits summary. So if I click on one of these, it would automatically filter the values on, the values on that table. In this case, this will only contain, see, the Grand Forks, program projects. If I click again, it will burn everything. If I click on the rugby brings us 1.150 million, 1,150,000 benefits. So, and this is where I can quickly get to my program level information without really scrolling through or filtering or doing something else. And it also gives us the magnitude of the benefits that each of the programs are bringing in. So this is how, again, we can really quickly get into and building some of this. Let me show you something really cool. What I do want to do is to hide this donut a little bit here, and a little bit alone like this. What I do want to also do is to show you how you can change the page number, page one to something else. Let's just say if I double click on it, I can change the name of it and change it to say project dashboard. Okay, now it's a project dashboard. We can also add things like the filter. It's a nice way to slice and dice the information. So here's the slicer. If I click on the slicer again, like any other visual, it will start with blank, and I'd like to fill this, and I will fill this with, in this case, I'd like to use the attribute called project finish date, and I'd like to filter all the projects that supposed to finish at a certain date. So I'm gonna look for the project finish date. Project, let's just say finish. There you go, project finish date. Um, I can bring this field into here. I just drag and drop into the, I can drag and drop it into the field, or I can drag and drop it into the actual widget. This will actually do the same trick. So there we go. So what I have now is the filter, and I can make this a little bit more accommodating. This filter now that shows me the range at which my project portfolio finishes, right? It has their some of those projects are scheduled to be finished in 2018. Actually, when I look at that, I'll look at everything that is basically already in the past. And we have right now October time frame. So let's just say this is October. I'd like to see all this project. No, nothing. Nothing really there. What I have? What do I have anything in the past? So let me just bring this field, this finish field here too. I'm in the project finish field here, and it also, you see that it has a hierarchy automatically broken down into years and quarters and months and days. Um, in some of the scenarios, you do may want to have that broken down like this, but if you don't, there is this trick that you can do. Click on this drop down, and you can get to the project finish date without the hierarchy, and this will just simply list the date. All right, so what it does basically, it's the filter that allows you to choose the the time frame at which you'd like to focus on, and then you have all kinds of different options by years and everything, and things like that, where you can have this organized by date. But I do want to show you one other trick. If I copy this, Control C, Control V, basically copy paste and duplicate this visual here, and have the year as the major detail. So instead of the program, I'd like this to be years, and not even the benefits. I'd like to use the project ID, which is just kind of, I just want to know how many projects I have in a certain year. So I'm going to use the project ID as the values, which is in this case is going to count how many different projects I have in which year. So now quickly, I have the way to show me the projects that I finished in 2019. If I click on that, this will automatically bring all those 2 projects that are going to finish in 2019. Or let me see all those projects that I finished in 2020. Now I can see all the projects that I finished in 2020. So that's a very, very quick and easy way to start building your dashboards and start filling this white space with the information your stakeholders are really looking for. I didn't mean to create something really fancy or workable for you to look for, but I'm trying to give you equip you guys with things that you can use and build your own reports. Okay. I hope if you do have questions, and you really feel free to interrupt me because I know I will be able to hear you. Feel free to interrupt me if there are any questions already, so we can address those. Other than probably the login questions, but I think we do have all the Skywalkers accounts. Those Skywalkers accounts should be working, but again, we'll take a look at this offline. In the meantime, I do want to show you a few tricks how to pull in the information and pull in the existing content pack. Um, but before I do this, I do want to show you how we can work on some of these feeds and apply some of those so-called, SQL query language to some of those feeds. Just a little bit nerdy. Don't be scared. It's just a little bit under the hood. It's nothing really crazy. Um, so when you have these feeds in, and you like to transform them a little bit more or filter them a little bit more. So when you go to the edit queries here, and you click on edit queries, the edit queries will open up the edit queries will open up all these feeds, and if I can switch between these feeds, okay, if I click on the projects and tasks and risks and click on the issues, you can switch between it. You can see the preview of those feeds. So here's the way we can work on it. So let's just say we'd like to see only projects that are, and let's just say we're going to filter on something. Let's just say project actual duration. Uh, well, project actual duration, and we can, let's just say, let's find something more interesting. Project actual start date, project. Let's go to the very end. Usually some interesting stuff is the very end. All right, so let's just say would like to filter the sponsor. Let's just say sponsor no blank. We don't want projects with no sponsor. Okay. So let's just say we would like to apply the filter, and like in Excel, right? In Excel, you had this filtering, and you can select which ones you want or which ones you don't. And right now, I don't think I have shown you any of this is qualified as nerdy stuff. I don't think so. I mean, I can show you a little bit of that, but I think everything that I've shown you is something that is we call it Microsoft call it a citizen developer. So someone who is a business manager or business operator or anyone who is looking for to do some reporting can actually do this report. And none of this actually required licenses just yet. I'm going to get to the part where it requires licensing, but for now, in order to build those reports, you don't need a license. So let's just say I want to make this simple report. I want everything that has a sponsor. So just uncheck this null, click OK. Now it's going to basically filter everything here and take out stuff that where it's null. So, but look at the right side over here. So what it did is it applied this new step set, filtered rows, and I can click on this little gear here, and I can see that it's a pop-up basically, right? It says does not equal null, right? So it says, and I can add another filter and another filter and another filter, and that would be the step that has been applied to this project feed, right? This project feed has a new step. Usually this transformation, let's just say this proposed start has this ridiculous 8 a.m. time on it. I mean, we don't really need 8 a.m. We don't need that type of information. Let's just say this is the step we'd like to do, which is trim down that time and maybe only have the date. So we can do the right click here and say, you know what, we just need this change type to date, not for the date and time, but the date only. So it would just trim those times and just leave out the date. So it look at the right side, it added another step. So interesting fact here is that you can play a scenario. How is your feed looking at any given step of this at any given step of this applied step? So right now we see it's highlighting the very last step. But if I highlight the previous step, it will show me how the feed looked like before we applied the very last step. So that's kind of where if you have so many steps applied to your feed, you can always click on certain step in the middle and see how the feed is really looking before you actually maybe made a mistake at the last step. And you can always go back to the previous one and see how the feed is looking before that step was applied. So that's kind of a convenient way to look at it. Again, this is not really nerdy yet. Um, what you can also do is you can add additional columns. So you can have additional add a column. You can add a column here. There's options to use parameters or use functions, etc. But it's specifically a custom column if you click on a custom column, you can add a custom column. This is, let's just say, um, workshop custom field, right? And then we're gonna use project ID is not good. Let's just say this is cool field, cool field, and then we're going to use down something that says work KPI. I don't know. I just made it up. There you go. You just concatenated cool field at least 20% over baseline work. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Right? I mean, and the name of the field is the workshop custom field. And now we can use this in our report. So think about it. You can create a derivative field. You can create additional fields, calculations, and things like that on your data set. And then when you go back and say home, close and apply, so this would become part of your data set that is available for you to pull into your tables here. The tables, your visuals, your donuts, and things like that. I do want to also, before I switch to that content pack that I was going to show you how to pull in here, is to show you this multitude of different data source, different visualizations. And additionally, it's kind of not noticeable, but here's this three dot menu here, where you can click on this three dot menu and you can import a new visual. And we're working on our company. We have pipeline of all kinds of different visualizations that we build on our own. But there's a whole market of these different visualizations, and you can import from marketplace. And when you click on the import from marketplace, this will bring you all kinds of already available, and a lot of those are free. And you can scroll down and see there's a lot of, Gantt charts and additional stuff that you can pull in, and some kind of quartz like this, and you can add this very very quickly, and now this becomes part of your visualization stock. Okay, so now you can click on this, and now again, like any other visualization, it's going to look for, it's going to look empty. It's going to look for the fill-in with the data. So again, remember that slides, we need to pull the data, we need to prep the data, we need to transform and make it ready, and then to visualize the data. So now you can, when you've done all those steps, now we can visualize this. All right. So let me just make this a little bit better looking dashboard. So at least we're gonna fill the gaps here. So I'm gonna make this look a little bit better. Maybe like this. Maybe like this. And it's a snap. You see that there's a lot of snap in and snap in stuff you can do. What I don't like this. I'm just gonna make this donut bigger. There you go. All right, so I can quickly switch between years of the portfolio. And now, since once I am logged in here, and I'm logged in here as admin at my demo environment, in your case, when you need to log in or sign in, do the sign in or switch the account if you're already logged in with your corporate account or any other account, switch it to your Skyworker account, the one that we are practicing here with. And once you have that done, then you would be able to publish this. So when I click on publish, first of all, obviously it's going to ask us to save our work because our file has been called what? Untitled, right? We don't want to have the work called untitled. Let's save this to my, let's just save this to my documents, and I'm going to say workshop dashboard, workshop dashboard. Okay, I'm saving this. And since I clicked on publish, this is going to try to publish. And remember, we talked about my workspace. If I when I logged into the PowerBI.com, I logged into my workspace, and I can always publish to my specific workspace. But if I am happens to be the member of a project management office workspace, or I am happen to be the member of HR workspace or financial workspace or any other organizational workspace, aka team, from team's perspective, separate conversation, I know. But if I have access to any other workspace that I'm the member of and I can publish to those workspaces, I would be prompted to publish to those to other workspaces as well. So I'm going to publish to my workspace here. I'm going to click select, and now it's going to do abracadabra. Now it's going to push this all to our workspace in our lab environment. It really should not take too much time. Should be done by now. Okay, come on. Should be done by now. All right, it's done. So for our convenience, I can either click on this and will get us to the dashboard right away. But I know we did the incognito thing, which is not the default browser. So I'm gonna go to my browser, which is here. Uh, no, it's not here. Which one is this? Oh, here. Okay. So this is my browser, and remember I had logged into PowerBI.com. So if I go to PowerBI.com, it will get me signed. It will sign me in. Sign in. It will sign me in. And see this workspace on the left side, and this weird way of expanding this. So now, where's my report? What did I call it? Call it workshop dashboard, right? Workshop dashboard on my workspace. All right, let me check which account I'm logged in here with. M365, 575. Here is, oh, it's a different. See, I have too many different. I have too many different environments I'm playing with. So give me 1 second. Let's switch the account. Switch the account, and I'm gonna sign into my correct account and publish it over there. Apologies. Okay. Just gonna grab my credentials from my secret place over here. Copy here. This is the right environment, and this is the password. This is the password. Sign it in. There we go. So this is the right environment. So here I'm going to publish and save same way. And I'm going to publish this to my workspace. Hopefully the second time around it will actually work. Yuri, in the meantime, let me know if you have, guys, any questions. And again, if you think of questions in the future, please feel free to drop them into this chat or actually into our website. Feel free to reach out to us. So now, if I go to my Power BI and refresh this. Okay, let's do it again. Refresh. There you go. Workshop dashboard. So click on the reports, and here's the workshop dashboard. And now we have here our great report that is already published online to the Power BI service. So again, in order to have Power BI servers available, this is part of the Office 365. So if you're at your workplace and you have Office 365 in your organizations, most likely you have access to the Power BI free servers that will allow you at least do the basic stuff, basic things, and will allow you to have access to your own workspace. If you would need to share this with anyone else, and this is where the paid Power BI Pro license may come into play and may be required for you to actually show and share this to somebody else. If I click on subscribe, I like to if I need to subscribe and to receive regular updates from for this report, or I need to share. Where's my share button here? With the share button, if I need to share it with someone else, see, only users with Power BI Pro will have access to this report. So this is where it's getting into the licensing, where sharing and actually using the report will require the license. So which is pretty smart from Microsoft perspective. It allows you to create these wonderful reports at no cost, but when and only charge you license when you're actually using it with other users. All right. So what I wanted to also quickly show you, I know we're running without a stop for quite a bit, but feel free to grab a snack or anything or step out. I'm just gonna roll and have this recorded, and you'll be able to see this at any time. It will be part of our YouTube channel later on. All right. So what I want to do is to show you how to pull in Microsoft content pack, and this is really really interesting. So when I go to google.com and like to search for project online project online project online Power BI content pack, I'm going to add GitHub. There you go. It's already added the GitHub. You know, that searching for. So, Office Dev, Project Web, Project Power BI, Content Pack, blah, 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 blah. So, this is the one we need. And this is officially by Microsoft, put out there by Office Dev team, see on the GitHub. But really, we're looking for this PBIT Power BI template file, and I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna basically download it. So when I download it, it's gonna download as a Microsoft Project Online Power BI content pack. Well, you see, I've been doing this for some time. I'm gonna update. Maybe it's a later version, although it's been last updated January 2018. Although this is official content pack at the moment. So there you go. It's been downloaded here. And for the purpose of this section, I'm going to go back to my Power BI desktop that we currently had, and I'm going to close it. Close it. Click on X, say yes, save, and we'll close it. Okay, so now we just downloaded it, and I'm going to basically open it. Right, click on open, and what it will do, it will um, ask me if I'd like to open it with my Power BI desktop. I'm going to say OK. And now it's going to launch my Power BI desktop and open that template file. So while it's doing this, I know it's going to ask. It's going to ask for the URL, right? And while it's doing this, we can go back to our project web app, and I can give you another clicks how to get there. So when you're at the home of office.com, you're logged in, you click on the project, it will get you to the project homepage. On the project homepage, at the very bottom, you would see that go to Project Web App, and this is your URL. So this is the URL that we will need. So okay, so it's loaded here, and it's basically asking us a few questions. So the first question it's asking is the PWA site URL. Right, you can tell I do that. So I can go back here and grab my URL, copy here, and I'm going to come back to project to Power BI desktop, and I'm going to paste it here. All right, English, yes, load. Again, if you're not logged in here as administrator of that environment, it's probably going to ask you to re-authenticate yourself. But again, you're going to use those Skywalker accounts that we created for you, and you'll be able to log it in. So you see what's doing now. It's loading quite a bit of feeds here. So it may take some time. I hope that it's not going to take too much time, but it will take some time until it's kind of load everything and it will load all the tabs and it will load all the relationships, will perform all the transformations. And but this is something that is available out there for anyone to use with Project Online. While it's doing this, I'm going to let it run for a little bit. I'm going to switch to Power BI for a second. Sorry, to Power BI web interface, which is powerbi.com, right? And I'd like to show you a few things. Um, so you can do a lot of these things online here, including the editing of this report. If I click on edit the report that we just published, I can literally see all the fields and I can make some changes. You see those 4 feeds that we created? I can actually pull, the information from these feeds and use it in my report on the web. So there's a way to do some minor changes, to minor updates to your reports on the web. You don't have to necessarily do this through the Power BI desktop. In Power BI desktop, you have much more capabilities to do that, but you can do a lot of things on the web as well. So if I go back to the reading view, and I'd like to show you this file menu that has interesting things. For example, things like export to PowerPoint. I can export this layout that I'm looking at here and current values or default values. I can filter something. Maybe I would like to focus on 2019 project portfolio and have that exported to my PowerPoint and click on export, and this would generate Power BI. I'm sorry, it's a lot of power in this sentences. It will generate a PowerPoint file for me, and I'll be able to use this in my, I don't know, executive steering committee or something like that. So that's something. These are the features, and while it's kind of generating the file for us, you can also embed this in SharePoint pages, and you can embed the snippets of this reports into SharePoint pages. You can print this. You can export the PDF, or you can put this and download the actual PBIX file, and then use Power BI Desktop to work on it. There you go. Here's this Power workshop dashboard Power BI. I'm sorry, PowerPoint. I guess it's time for me to stop talking because it's been a long, it's been a lot of talking. So if I click on this PowerPoint, it's gonna launch my PowerPoint, and we're gonna take a look and see. There you go. So let me just put it on the screen. So it created the like a title slide with the name and the Power BI credentials. But here's the slide, the fully Power BI slide that it was created as a result of our export to PowerPoint. All right, we'll close this for now, and let's check on our. Oh, look at that! Look at that. So this is Microsoft Power BI content pack for Project Online. and look at the different tabs. You can see that there's a project portfolio with all kinds of KPIs. You can look at agile projects. You can look at and it should automatically filter and everything. So this is something that already been pre-wired, preset, pre-configured for you, and you can see how this other filters may work, and you can click on this and see. I like to focus only, let's just say, in years 2019, right? And here's the 2019 Gantt chart kind of portfolio, right? Portfolio costs, all kinds of KPIs and indicators. There's a lot of work being put into this. Let's put it this way, and you can see all these different tabs. Let me just drill into one of the project status reports. This is going to show us a status report for a specific project. Let's just pick up a project that we can pull this status report. And then you understand, you got the idea that this may contain, there you go. So we have completed milestones, upcoming milestones. You can see the magnitude of the cost over time ratio and things like that. So very cool stuff that is available. And again, we can also push this button, publish this to our Power BI service. I'm going to save this. I'm going to say that this is a workshop dashboard from Microsoft. I'll say yes. We're gonna publish this to. We're gonna publish this to our workspace, and we're going to expect this to show up on that same page online. Right. We also do have a trusted IT content pack where we have a lot of different things included that maybe not necessarily included here. There's different ways to show everything. But the point is that I'd like to make it's been very fun to work with Power BI. Very receptive to the business challenges, and we've had a tremendous experience and pleasure working with a lot of different customers, helping them to find the bridge between the business challenge and the visualization of the information, and it really yield the value for the business as a great analytics that comes out of these reports. Which I'd like to go back to my reports, refresh this page. Again, here I go. It's already here. Microsoft dashboard, a workshop dashboard from Microsoft. So if we click on this, now it's going to show me all those great reports that we can switch between, and then let's see how great those reports are. All right, I guess this is basically what I wanted to cover today. I hope that it wasn't a waste of time. Again, feel free to check this later on our website or on our YouTube channel. We will be able to show you more information in person if we need to, or if you'd like to have any questions, you'd like to ask questions, feel free to do so. We'll be happy to assist you with any of those. And I hope you liked it. And I do want to ask you, if you did like it, click on that bell and subscribe to our channel. We're looking forward to sharing more information in the future, and I hope to hear from you soon. All right. Again, thanks for stopping by, and watch our next video. It's coming out on a regular basis. Okay. All right. You were anything else you wanted to
Thank you,
add?
Alex. No, thank you very much. This was very good, comprehensive. I do apologize. I think this was we had a little bit of a difficulty with the broadcast. At least on my end, it was blurry at times, but overall, I think it was a great session. So if you do need a, like I said, a refresher, and you need to go back and look at it again, we'll make sure that the posted version is good quality that you can actually follow it along.
All right. Thanks, Yuri. Thanks, everybody, and we'll look forward to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.